This is the Sports Mastery Podcast. I'm Deshaun Fauntleroy, your peak performance coach. I've worked with some of the best athletes in the world. NFL athletes, Olympic level sprinters, D1 track, basketball, and football athletes, and elite high school and middle school athletes. I'm going to share with you the systems and strategies that all great athletes have in common. You're going to learn how to communicate effectively and confidently with coaches and teammates. You're also going to learn to develop your leadership skills and more. The only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, heroes and villains. I'm your host, Deshaun Fauntleroy. I know your time is precious, so we're going to get right into today's show. In today's show, we're going to be discussing 6 ways to turn on your creative imagination. If you've been with us before, or if you're just joining the show, you know we've been discussing a lot on reflective relearning. And what does that mean? It is the process of using your creative imagination to select positive images for yourself and eliminate the false, destructive images your subconscious mind may be acting on as if they were true. So when we discuss reflective relearning, it gives you 4 keys to creating new attitudes and behavior. 1, anything you imagine to be true is accepted as true by your subconscious mind. 2, an imagined experience is perceived and acted on by your subconscious mind exactly the same as a real experience. 3, your behavior follows what you believe to be true. 4, your behavior changes in the direction of your beliefs. Now, this is something I need y'all to really think about. Think about the 4 keys to creating new attitudes and behavior. This is reflective relearning. I'll give you this definition again. Again, it's the process of using your creative imagination to select positive images for yourself and eliminate the false, destructive images your subconscious mind may be acting on as if they were true. Now, you've heard these 2 quotes before. Fake it till you make it, act as if. We're going to get into that later. Again, if you're just joining us, you might want to go back and listen to the prior 3 episodes, because this exercise here, it's important to have your team. And your team could be your mom and dad. It could be your brother. It could be your sister. It could be your head coach. It could be an assistant coach. It could be a member of the family, your mentor. You have to have your team involved with this exercise. Now, this exercise is only 15 minutes long. And what I want y'all to do is work on this exercise over the next 5 days and let me know how it works for you. What you can do is email me, Deshaun@sportsmastery.com. That's DESHAWN @sportsmastery.com in terms of this experience. So again, like I said before, this is a 15-minute exercise. If you can't take 15 minutes to plan for your success, if you can't take 15 minutes to imagine your success, chances are you're a train wreck. Chances are you don't have real goals. Chances are you're going to be a follower. Chances are you're going to stay a follower. Chances are you're not going to elevate to the places that you've been talking about. So I need you to understand this here. You have to do the work. I want you to take action. And the first part of taking action is you just have to do it. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel awkward at times. But I digress. So anyway, this is a 15-minute exercise that I would suggest you do first thing in the morning or right before you go to bed at night. However, if those times don't permit, what's important is that you still do the work, and you have to have your team involved. Everybody needs a team. So the first part of this exercise is to partner up with someone from your team. This is just a 5-minute exercise. And what I want you to do is share with your team your vision. Discuss this. Where do you want to go academically? Where do you want to go athletically? Share with them the whys. Share with them the hows. Talk to them about where you want to go in your career after your playing days are over. How do you see yourself in business? What do you see? So you have to ask yourself and discuss this with your team. Discuss the who, what, when, where, hows, and whys. Let your team know where you want to go. Let your team know what you see and discuss this. This is a discussion. So there's going to be communication on both ends. That's what makes this important, is you're doing this with your team. And as I said before, your team could be your mom and dad. It could be your brother and sister. It could be your teammates. It could be your head coach. It could be an assistant coach. It could be a counselor at school. Nevertheless, it has to be with someone from your team, someone that you know, like, and trust. This is very important when it comes to your team. It has to be someone that you know, like, and trust. So, as I said before, the first part of this exercise is a discussion of what you see in terms of where you want to go, where you want to be with your team. This is very important. Like I said, keep it short. It's just a 5-minute conversation. Now, the next part of this exercise is a visualization. This is the part, as I discussed before, you have to enter the theater of your imagination. So what we're going to do is we're going to visualize this successful achievement of your goal. And what I want you to do is be as detailed as possible. See the finish line. See yourself winning the 100 meter, the 200 meter dash at the NCAA Division I championships. See yourself being chosen to the next Olympics. How do you feel? I told you before, you have to be as detailed as possible. So I need you to paint a picture. What does that picture look like? Again, we're talking about visualizing your successful achievement of your goals. You have to do this with your team. Again, what do you see? How do you feel? Who's there? This picture and this visualization, it has to be in great detail. So take 5 minutes with your team. Let's stop talking and let's go into the theater of your imagination. Where, like I said before, we've discussed reflective relearning, but at the end of the day, it's just another term for mental practice. That's all we're doing is mental practice. You have to do the work. So as you do this visualization exercise, just think about that definition of reflective relearning. This is why we do this. So take 5 minutes and do your visualization exercise. The last 5 minutes you're going to do with your team is you're going to take some time and in partnership, you're going to discuss the visualization experience in detail. As I said before, we're talking about the theater of your imagination. You know, I could say, have a 10-minute conversation, do a 10-minute visualization, have a 10-minute conversation at the end of your imagination experience. But for the sake of conversation, and I know that we all get busy, I want y'all to do all 3 parts. Just take 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. See, I've narrowed this down to what I would term as a minimum effective dosage. This is just 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes in each area. This is your minimum effective dosage. And if you think about it, it is MED. So take your meds and get your minimum effective dosage. And I promise you, this is going to do you justice. This is the pill that you want to take. Now, what's important about this exercise, about this assignment, is that there are some rules for this, or what I would say, some guidelines. They're very simple. So what I want you to do is, 1, choose the same place, choose the same time every day for your mental picturing. 2, make sure there will be no interruptions. This is very important. You have to be in a quiet space. You know, you have to be somewhere where you're not going to get interrupted. Turn the computer off, close it, turn the power off, turn your phone off, period. You have to be somewhere where you're not going to be interrupted. And the last one is accept all positive images as valid and helpful. These are the 3 guidelines, or these are the 3 rules for this assignment. Again, it's just 15 minutes. Plan 15 minutes over the next week to connect with someone from your team so that you can get the minimum effective dosage from reflective relearning. This is a powerful thing, but in order for you to activate this power, you have to be diligent about doing the work. Now, I discussed this before. You know, you've heard other motivational speakers, you've heard other coaches, life coaches, success coaches, whatever you want to call it. Fake it till you make it. Act as if. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the fake it till you make it quote, because I feel that it's not genuine. You know, I like the term act as if. But when you act as if, you have to act with conviction. And what is conviction? You know, a simple Webster's dictionary definition or simple Google definition, and I would encourage you to do this. Just look up the word conviction. It is a firmly held belief or opinion. Conviction could also be a firmly held thought, a firmly held idea, position, or stance. So think about this when you're acting as if. A firmly held belief or opinion, thought, idea, position, or stance. So ask yourself this. When you go to act as if, what is it like to act like a straight A student? What is it like? How would you act if you were an all-state athlete? How would you act if you were a returning All-American? How would you act if you were that young business owner grossing $40,000 a month? I would guess that you would have the right attitude. And if you've listened to prior episodes, I know your cancel mechanism would be intact at all times. If you don't know what I mean by the cancel mechanism, go back and listen to the prior episode, How to Craft a New Self-Image. I'm quite sure you'll be getting the right amount of rest. I'm quite sure you would be working on proper nutrition habits daily. And this will be the simple things: eliminating sugary soft drinks, not doing alcohol or illicit drugs, eliminating fried foods from your diet and candy. Some would say that you would have to have willpower. You know, at the end of the day, it's easy to fall into that willpower trap. You have to avoid the willpower trap. What does the willpower trap have to do with your self-image? Think about it. The word image. If you're perceiving yourself in images, which half of the brain is in charge? If you said right, give yourself a pat on the back. Because if you try to address your self-image through the verbal, logical, left side of the brain, studies show it's not going to work. That's not the left brain's job. When you enter the theater of your imagination, as we've discussed and been discussing and will continue to discuss, you're engaging the right brain and telling your left brain to basically take a back seat and shut the fuck up. You see what I mean? You're decelerating the part of the brain that says, if only you do things this way. You can't do it. You're no good at it. This is too hard. You might as well stop. You'll never get there. You have to turn that part of your brain off, because no part of the brain has ever been identified with the mind. Nevertheless, it's convenient to think of the left brain as generally working in tandem with the conscious mind, while the right brain tends to partner up with the subconscious mind. That is why willpower so often becomes want power. Think about it. Willpower and positive thinking have never changed anyone's behavior. Maxwell Maltz discussed in his book, Psycho-Cybernetics, If the way you act and think is intimately bound up with your self-image, you're not going to change it by attacking the problem with the part of your brain that deals in words. Trying to change your behavior through your left brain traps you in a cycle of frustration and despair. So it's like I said before, you have to do the work. And for most people, the hardest aspect of reflective relearning, what I found, is convincing the left brain that it's going to do the work. The left brain is too logical to accept on faith that simply imagining successful results is going to move you forward. It's often too patient to wait for the effects of mental practice and mental training, to take effect. So you've seen it. Some people give up right away. They go back to their bad habits because they let their left brains wander all over the place and take over and take charge. But this is about creating a new image, putting new pictures together, putting new tapes together. That's why I urge you over and over to act as if. It's not being belligerent. It's not going out and buying a whole new wardrobe. Maybe you should tuck your shirt in and put a belt on. Maybe you should pull your pants up. Maybe you should dress like you're going for an interview every day. Maybe you should dress like you're the president of a corporation every day. Because building a new self-image, it doesn't happen overnight. What I want you to think about is how can you get 1% better every day? Because the process is cumulative. It takes daily effort. And what we're talking about here is I want you to start incorporating these techniques and the things and strategies that we've been discussing. Because it takes daily effort for about 6 weeks. You can ask your team, ask your mentor, ask your mom and dad, ask your head coach, ask the assistant coach. Because they know nothing worthwhile happens overnight. Even being born took 9 months. Just keep your conscious attention focused on your new self-image and keep on behaving as if you're already there. Think about that. That's the key word. Behave. Behave as if you're already there. 6 ways to turn on your creative imagination. 1, take time out for yourself. 2, make sure you'll be undisturbed during your appointed time. 3, make yourself as relaxed and comfortable as possible. 4, make your imagining as detailed as possible. 5, imagine yourself being successful. 6, make your right brain work for you. This is very important. Make and let your right brain work for you. So these are some ideas that I want you to target. Your attitudes, feelings, and behavior change in the direction of what you believe to be true. Through your imagination, you can create positive images of yourself that, with time and repeated practice, will become your actual self-image. Act as if you've already achieved success, and your feelings, attitude, and behavior will become consistent with actual success. This episode is brought to you by ProForce Athletics, the home of unique and custom sports tees serving athletes, teams, organizations, and fundraising campaigns. To learn more, visit proforceathletics.com.